This is Matthew Horton of the CBC, speaking from Italy. At 8 o'clock this morning, I was bumping over the tank rut into the outskirts of Ortona. There was a strange silence, and I surmised something. I got into the command post of a Western Canadian unit in the heart of the town. Only a few machine guns were clattering, only an occasional enemy shell was falling, and bearded men who hadn't had their boots off for 30 days were laughing. The colonel grinned when I came in. I said, "Don't tell me." And he replied, "Yes, I think we've got Ortona. There's a patrol going through the fort now, and if they find no Germans there, the thing is over. We'll know any minute." Not 2 minutes later, the radio buzzed, and Corporal Bill Colville of Edmonton took the message from the signaller at the fort not 400 yards away. Then he took off his earphones and turned to the colonel. "Sir, the Jerrys have gone, or else they're all dead. Ortona was ours." And so ended the Battle of the Moral River, one of the most savage Canadians ever fought. After 21 days of hard enough fighting, the Canadians had 7 days and 8 nights of fearful battle in Ortona against one of the best units ever produced by the fierce Germans, the 4th Parachute Division. Demons of men. And now the battle was over and won at no small cost. I left the command post and walked down a narrow street, an awful street, and came to a little square which had better not be described. Continuing down another street, I came to the ruins of a 3-story building. I looked through the rubble and saw several mangled German dead. This was where the battle ended last night, in a pitch of heroism and ferocity. For the last 2 days, the fighting had been a frenzy from house to house. C Company of one of the Western units, under Captain Bill Longhurst of Edmonton, had fought its way into one building and fought its way to the top, stair by stair and room by room. Then they had to get into the next building to kill the Germans there. So they blew holes in the wall, captured German sticky bones, and threw hand grenades through the holes, and then crawled through and started fighting their way downstairs, down the stairs, or blowing holes in the floor and shooting down. But meanwhile, one officer, the regimental interpreter, crawled close to a window of this building to hear the Germans talking. He heard an officer upbraiding his men for having let the Canadians get into the top floor. Then the Canadian crept away and found some of our engineers. In half an hour, the engineers had placed charges of high explosive under the building. And after the Canadians on the top floor had been warned to get out, the building was blown up, and 40 or 50 Germans in it were killed or crushed. This was a revenge, because we had lost men that way. And that will tell you, perhaps, what kind of a battle has been going on in Ortona for 7 days and 8 nights. Men blowing holes through walls and fighting their way down from top to bottom of a building in a hellstorm of machine gun bullets and hand grenades. Thousands of hand grenades, potato mashers, as the Canadians call them, were used in this demonic fight. I looked round there, horrified. Captain Vic Soley of Edmonton was telling me stories, but I hardly heard them. Though I remember him saying that at dusk yesterday, in the last-minute convulsion, a young Italian woman found buried alive was delivered of a baby by a sergeant in Vancouver, both doing well. The mother well enough to say that her baby's second name would be Canadese, meaning Canadian. I went slowly down another main street and came to another square. The buildings were either empty shells or piles of brick and rubble, some covered with dead Germans and blood. And this havoc caused by shells, not bombs. On one pile of rubble, precariously balanced, killed by an anti-tank gun and set on fire as if attacked, was a Canadian tank. And I see it now as I speak, as I shall always see it. Not static and dead, but dynamic in that minute when gallantly it climbed the mine-filled pile of rubble only yesterday and was struck down by an anti-tank shell.